today, I'm suspending my campaign for the presidency of the United States.
Unable to take off with voters, Governor Rick Perry, former Governor Rick Perry of Texas, dropped out of the Republican presidential race. It did not help that Perry also has a criminal indictment hanging over him right now.
And he still hasn't lived down his epic fail during a 2012 presidential debate. Fox 4's Brandon Todd got some perspective from a UTA political science professor. Brandon.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, Perry entered the race a few months ago and never really gained footing nationally in the polls. But political science professor Alan Sachs today told me that money troubles and low popularity on a national scale, not the makings of a good presidential campaign.
I give you this news with no regrets.
Former Texas Governor Rick Perry making it official while speaking at a conservative conference in St. Louis. His second bid to become commander-in-chief has ended.
I step aside knowing our party's in good hands as long as we listen to the grassroots, listen to that cause of conservatism.
It really wasn't a surprise.
UTA political science professor Alan Sachs said the clues to Perry's failing campaign were plentiful.
He's had financial problems raising money even several weeks ago.
And Sachs says Perry has a different title now compared to when he ran in 2012.
He was governor, so you got to give him his due. So he could brag about it. I'm the governor of the state, and look how good we're doing. Now he's the former governor of the state, you know, and it's a little bit of a different deal. It just loses a little bit of its luster.
It didn't look good for Perry last month when poor polling numbers meant that he didn't make the cut for the first GOP debates. Then a few weeks ago, he stopped paying staffers and pulled some of his campaign field workers from key primary states. But Perry never seemed to recover any national support after a gaffe in his 2012 campaign, where he couldn't remember the third federal agency he'd promised to close if elected, and then muttered, oops.
He had back problems. He wasn't feeling good that night, as we know in retrospect, but that's fate. I always tell my students life can turn on a dime, you know, and it really can in his case.
On his way out, Perry took one last opportunity to make a dig at Donald Trump, although not mentioning him by name.
We do not need to nominate a candidate who speaks louder than his record.
A lot of people have taken aim at Donald Trump, and as a lot of people know, the more people beat up on Donald Trump, the higher his ratings go.
And Sachs says that Perry at this point really can hold his head high and kind of stand on his record as Texas governor. And Heather, of course, we all know he can make quite a living on the speaking circuit. He'll do pretty well there.
Indeed. All right, Brandon Todd live tonight. Thank you.